Okay, this is just a quick video to show you what sort of quality fairings you get from China. So this is the finished result. I did have quite a few issues with it. The front bit, which I thought was going to be the most complex, actually went on fairly easily. The holes for the mirrors didn't line up, but just had to drill them out on both sides. That worked just fine. It is recommended you get a like a fairing bolt kit, because you're going to need as many fairing bolts as you possibly can, and different types of fastenings, just to be able to make this sort of thing work. The first major issue I came across was these indicators. You can't really see it now, but there was initially a really large gap in between here. I managed to sort it out by putting a little spacer, well, a couple of little spacers between that screw and the actual light. Now it doesn't look so bad. Actually looks alright, so I'm just going to leave it like that. Same thing on the other side, probably more noticeable actually there. You can see the gap. It's not too big at the moment, but nobody's really going to notice that. It's just what you get when you buy cheap fairings. Second issue I noticed was that these two bits here, I can't see all that well, don't line up. So that one is nice and smooth. That one there's a bit of a bulge. Same thing down the bottom. That one there sort of comes down. There's this one here, still comes down, but comes down less. Similar sort of thing down here. Bit of plastic. I'm not sure how well you guys can see this, but it goes up by about, I don't know, 3 mils before it comes across, whereas that one comes straight down. I can sort of go through and I can, shave that down and repaint it. Same with this little bit up here. It's not a major issue. The front guard fit really well. I do recommend though, when you stick it through the forks, you put a bit of material or something in here. You have to sort of squeeze it and then push it through the forks, and I ended up scratching mine a bit. If I've been thinking, not very much, but if I've been thinking, I would have just put a bit of material in between there and stopped it from scratching. The major problems were the big side fairings. Pretty much every single hole except for one had to be drilled out. A lot of the plastics had to be sort of pushed really hard and stretched to get into place. You sort of see down here what I mean. There's the actual hole, but I've had to drill it, a good 3 or 4 mils across. And that's probably true of the entire fairings. Everything was about 3 or 4 mils off, which is fairly terrible. Some fitment issues. See here, there's a bit of a gap between those two fairing bits. That's not because of sort of like the screws pulling something in. There's no way to fix this, just in the plastic, just wasn't moulded correctly. I am going to get a bit of tape they used to hold on custom body kits for cars and put it inside there, and that's just sorted out, but it's not the best solution because it makes it hard to pull the fairings back off again. Similarly here, I'm not sure you can see that, but there's a bit of a gap between there. It's not all that noticeable. I'm not really going to bother complaining about it. I mean, really, if I wanted to complain about the quality of these fairings, back to the guys that bought it from, then I'd probably send back every single bit. You can see the lines don't line up there, or at least it's sitting flush though. Overall, when you stand back and look at it, it looks quite nice, but when you get up close, you can see that it's it's not so good. The tank was a bit of an issue, and there's a good 6 or 7 mil gap. I can stick my finger in it there along the back end. It appears the tank was, I really had to take out all the rubber bits underneath the front and the rear screw to make it fit even that well. I'm just going to get my tank spray painted, I think. This is going to scratch up pretty easily anyway. It's sort of a good thing in the meantime, but not really a permanent solution. The only fairing bit that actually fit on without any issues whatsoever was this one here. The holes were in the right place for the petcock, and the screw lined up, and it went straight into here and looks pretty good. I've taken out the rubber bung there at the moment, just because I was trying to fit this. this is the main issue. This bit here is actually too short. It seems to be, I don't know, maybe like, it's a good 8 or 9 millimeters shorter than what it should be. I actually snapped off some tight tags here when I was trying to sort of just push it in. So I've zip tied it for the moment, and I've got back to him and asked him for a replacement one of these, because I think this is a bit shorter as well, and a replacement one of these as well. All up, it probably took me about 6 hours to fit these fairings, at least, I reckon. Compared to if I was, pulling these fairings on or off, my old OEM fairings, probably took me 15 minutes, absolute total. So yeah, you get what you pay for. The other thing I'll mention is these Dessous nuts, I think they're called, which you get with the OEM fairing. I obviously don't get them with the kit. I've sort of come up with a workaround where I've got sort of like a thread with 2 wings coming off the side, and that sticks to the back of the main fairing, and I've just screwed through onto it. And I've done the same thing here as well. That's where you need those Dessous nuts. You can order them off eBay fairly cheap, and I did, but I got 15mm ones, and they're way too big. So I'm guessing either the 10, probably 10 mils will do it. I've seen some which are 12 mils, so maybe that's what I'm after. I'll have to order some more, but that will do for the moment. Yeah, and that's about it.